Well, hey there. Welcome to Movie Review Mom. I'm the mom and I do the movie reviews. And today, the movie I'm reviewing is called MEAD. This sci fi movie is currently playing in select theaters and is also now available to stream online. The movie is rated PG. However, I would rate it an R, and it's an hour and 45 minutes. I'll give you more tips for parents and information about that here in just a minute. My movie review mom grade for this movie is a D. Let me explain why. I'll give you an overview in a nutshell, and I'll point out things I liked and didn't like, as well as offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, funny lines, if there are any, as well as recommendations for other movies that I think are sort of similar, but that I think you'll like better. All right, let's dive in. In a nutshell, a fugitive starship whose acronym is MEAD, MEAD, and a lone passenger, Frizz, evade Earth forces utilizing their ability to project the passenger's thoughts, creating illusions that fool pursuers. But tech is being developed to thwart the outlaws. This sci fi movie was directed and written by J. Allen Williams with some writing help by Jan Stranad. Now, don't let the poster fool you. This is not a harmless kids movie, but a sexually charged romp through space for adults. I looked at the movie poster and I was like, "Oh, that reminds me of Wall-E, the children's movie." But again, it's definitely not. First, let me tell you about some of the things that I liked about the movie. The movie poster caught my eye when I saw that Patton Oswalt would be in it. He voices Mead. I also adore Patrick Warburton, and he voices Timmy the Wonderbolt. So they both do a really good job, but I think the script really underserves their talent. And because of their star power, I just assumed it was going to be a really good movie. Wah wah. The movie kind of feels like a 1980s sci fi spoof. So, if that's what your expectations are, I think that you'll enjoy the movie. Again, my expectations were really different, and that definitely affects how I enjoy a film. I like the idea of using your mind to create illusions to defeat an enemy, and they came up with some fun and interesting ideas, but ultimately, it just could have been so much better. Some of the musical choices are actually pretty good, especially in Act Three and in the closing credits. Keep watching during the closing credits at the end of the movie for a final scene. And then ultimately, it is creative. It's definitely a low budget movie and it looks like one, but hey, you know, good for them for getting this movie out there. There were a lot of things I didn't like about the movie. First of all, the movie has been described as ambitious in its ideas, but the execution is just really terrible. And it's basically because of that low budget. The film looks and feels very low budget. There's some really bad acting in the movie. Kids will be bored within minutes and shouldn't be watching this anyway, in my opinion. They may not be able to understand what's going on if they're very young, but even older kids, I think, will just think it's really silly. The audio sounds hollow a lot of the time, again, speaking to that low budget element. The humor is very juvenile. This is the kind of movie that can be best enjoyed when drunk. Now, I don't drink alcohol, never have. So obviously, I thought the movie was really silly and dumb and stupid. All of the women in the movie are super annoying, abrasive, and treated like objects. When the movie starts, we see a man and a holographic woman in a very sexual position. The staging and blocking of the actors is very stiff. It almost feels like a stage play where people are, walking across the stage and then they stop and then they turn and, just not natural. Act Three fizzles for a long time with very long exposition scene and no action or resolution, really. Instead, it drifts into a conversation about a sequel. So, does anyone want more of this? No, thank you. So, tips for parents: we see a topless woman with tattoos from the back. There is profanity, no F bombs. So, that's probably why it's rated PG-13. There's sci fi space violence. But really, the biggest objection that I have for kids watching this is there are a lot of sexually charged conversations that are just inappropriate for kids. Some of the themes that are illustrated well are reality versus illusion, hope, connection, and teamwork. So I always write down funny lines and interesting lines so that you can kind of get a flavor for the movie and the quality of the script writing and dialogue. I have them all on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, so you can run over there and check them out. I'll just share a couple of them with you right now. So Mead, who's voiced by Patton Oswalt, says reality is vastly overrated. And I thought that that was interesting because there is a lot of CGI and illusions and holograms and that kind of stuff going on. So Mead also says, nothing up my sleeves. I got no sleeves, so you know I'm on the level. And then Phoebe, who is played by Lily Young, says, will you please control alt delete yourself? Ba-dum-bum. All right. Now, before we go, let me give you recommendations for two movies that I instantly thought of that are better. At least I enjoyed better. One is the screwball comedy Spaceballs. Yeah, from a long time ago. And that kind of was an 80s spoof space movie, right? Really silly humor, but just done better, I think. And then the next movie that I thought of is called Galaxy Quest, also a spoof on these space movies, but just done better. And so I think that you'll enjoy both of those better. If you watch this movie, I hope that you enjoy it. And if not, well, then I kind of gave you the heads up, didn't I? All right. Have a fantastic day. I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.